The dream picture does not exist for me. What I dream is to be in the places I love. Then it's up to the nature to give me what it wants to share with me.
Comment vous faites quand vous photographiez les animaux pour pas qu'ils aient peur?
C'est quoi la différence entre le pôle sud et le pôle nord?
Est-ce que les manchots, tout ce qui vit sur le froid et quand il n'y a plus de glace, est-ce qu'ils survivent?
An image comes to life when you create a connection between the subject and the viewer. When the connection is made, the message is delivered. That is the power of photography. The only way to get to Antarctica is on a ship. There are very strict regulations for tourism, and to visit on your own, you need special permits that are extremely expensive. We're going to embark at the academic Yafe. She's a Russian research ship, which nowadays is also used for tourism. It is always very emotional at the beginning of a trip. It is my 19th expedition, but it never becomes a routine. You never know what you will see. I come back every year because I know something special is going to happen, but you just don't know what. When you leave Ushuaia, it's like a door closing for 10, 12 days or 2 weeks, and you're totally cut off. I love to be isolated from the rest of the world.
Yeah, if you just want to move in tight this way, something you learn about the Antarctic is that the penguins, they get nice and tight together to stay warm, and I'd recommend that today. Thank you for participating in the drill. This is a lifeboat here, a 66-person lifeboat. Well, normally we'd lower it down a bit and show you and you could all look in, but with these conditions, with the wind right now, it's a good lesson though in preparing for a lifeboat alarm. It is cold out here. We are going to the Antarctic.
In a few hours, we're entering the Drake. It's one of the wildest passages in the world. Sometimes it's wild, totally wild, and sometimes it's completely calm. Then we call it the Drake Lake. It has just started snowing, and it's wonderful. If you look ahead, you can only see fog. It's the unknown that is waiting for us. We don't know how the Drake is going to be, and it's really exciting.
It is the beginning of a long voyage. Antarctica is not easy to reach. We set off from Ushuaia through the Beagle Channel, along the last bit of land before Cape Horn and the Drake Passage. Here, the waves of 3 oceans collide joyfully in an infernal dance.
%90 of the images you're gonna see are taken on cruises like that. And it's Arctic and Antarctica, so you're gonna see polar bears and penguin. Of course, we won't see any polar bears down here. So I have a couple of rules in photography, and the first rule is be there. If you're not there, you won't get the picture. And of course, you have to be there with a camera in hand, right? So when we have
With One Ocean Expedition, my role on board is to teach photography.
I'm available to passengers while on board, and during the landing, I can focus on my photography and my personal projects. I can go to bed and it's totally cloudy. You've seen how fast the weather changes here. I mean,
Sometimes there aren't many passengers attending the presentation because the sea is too rough and people feel seasick.
Diaphragm opening, right? So that's the diaphragm, and the aperture number is what says how much wide is your diaphragm.
During the Drake Passage crossing, I gave a couple of presentations. One on photo techniques and one on composition.
Canadians here, you know Lauren Harris's work and that great, powerful symmetry.
Usually David takes care of the second one, as he studies art and is really good in talking about composition.
The artist is given a gateway of values to go back and throughout. And I love the construction of dark, light, dark, light, dark.
I met David 6 years ago on a Russian icebreaker. He was the artist in residence, and we started working together. We both love the cold and the polar regions, and we love to hike. We have a lot in common, and last year we got married.
I couldn't be more happy being in this spot right now. I love to paint in all kinds of conditions, but the beauty of nature makes us very humble, very, very humble. And the beautiful thing of painting in nature with a sea spray here and that going into the watercolor. We're all made out of water. And I love that medium because it's fluid, it's interconnected. The sea spray comes from the clouds, which is absorbed by the ocean, comes into the painting, and it's all interrelated. And I like the accidents, you know, it sort of paints itself, this medium. So I let the spray, I don't try to cover it up. I let the paint freeze, and we'll see. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Those ones no one ever sees.
Yeah, they both Arctic and Antarctic.
In a raw sea.
Yeah, you would, because that's more a Ross Sea side. I mean, those things, they nest, particularly in the Chatham Islands off New Zealand. Mutton birds.
L'Antarctique est un mystère, maintenant encore. On pense qu'il y a des millions d'années, ce continent était recouvert de forêts, ce qui permet d'espérer que d'incalculables richesses sont là, à disposition de la race humaine tout entière, qui n'aura pas trop de tout son savoir-faire pour venir à bout des secrets de cette carapace de neige, de l'hostilité du climat. Les nations de ce monde semblent avoir compris que toutes leurs forces réunies étaient nécessaires contre de pareils adversaires.
Antarctica, the final trophy in mankind's quest to conquer, and full of promise for the future. Terra Australis has been an imaginary land since ancient times. Yet this continent was discovered only 2 centuries ago. In 1820, for the very first time, a Russian sea captain set foot on this mysterious continent, hitherto untouched by humankind. But not for long. Scientific research stations, whalers, sea hunters, Antarctica's destiny seemed sealed. At the turn of the 20th century, only the geographical pole itself resisted attack. Englishman Robert Falcon Scott embarked on a new expedition in 1911 after a first failure. When Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen heard the news, he set out in pursuit. Thanks to his dog sled team, he was the first to arrive at the South Pole. Scott reached the pole a month later, only to find the tent the Norwegian left behind. Inside, a letter addressed to the King of Norway, recounting the winner's exploits. Broken and exhausted, Scott and his team never saw England again. They perished on the way back, only 17 kilometers from their food depot. But this did not stop the ever-increasing exploitation. The stranglehold on Antarctica, the new El Dorado of modern times, continued. Only the 1959 Antarctic Treaty progressively put a halt to the industrial and military exploitation of the White Continent. Now dedicated to science, Antarctica is the only land on Earth that belongs to no one.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday, November 15th, 7 a.m. All around us we can see the mountains of the peninsula. Got a bit of ice drifting in the water here, just small bergy bits and remnants of icebergs up around us. And off our starboard bow we can see George's Point, our destination for this morning. Air temperature outside is, I suppose you could say subtropical at the moment, -2 degrees. And with the wind chill feeling a little cooler. We'll talk about this morning's excursion at breakfast, which is at 7:30 in the dining room. This ship is owned by the Russian Academy of Science, the P.P. Shirshov Institute of Oceanology based in Moscow. And the Russian captains, or Russian mariners, tend to be very respectful of ice. They are very experienced in it, but they respect the damage it can do. The captain is always in charge. He is always the boss on the ship. The expedition leader, in this case myself, would direct the itinerary, but I would direct the itinerary within the captain's parameters. Over the years, our captains have trained us to understand the limitations, to understand the safety constraints.
Oh yeah, there's Velcro though. Oh no, there is Velcro.
Up till 1994, explorers and tourists were allowed to bring anything on land. Since then, restrictions are very tight. We have to disinfect our boots and vacuum clean our jackets' velcros, because it's here where plant seeds are hiding. We need to avoid bringing anything that is not native to the Antarctic. Because Antarctica is a planet on another planet.
You went fishing? No? I feel like I came from a different planet. We are the aliens, and they're checking us out. So curious, so innocent. Sometimes you just have to stop and watch and just listen. Can only imagine. They've been at sea, now they're coming home here to nest, looking for a nest in springtime. Yeah.
The only predators penguins have are at sea, like leopard seal or orca whales. On land, there is nothing that bothers them. They're very curious, and it seems like they've forgotten about human exploitation. Since many years now, the Antarctic Treaty has protected them. Hunting is prohibited, and Antarctica is one of the few places left on Earth where animals are not afraid of humans. And that's wonderful. In Tessin, Switzerland, I bought a book on Antarctica. And while looking at the images, I was thinking, one day I'm going there. I started saving my money, and after 7 years, I was ready to leave. I was 29 years old. During my first landing, I was so emotionally excited that I was shaking and I had a lump in my throat. I was crying in disbelief. There were penguins everywhere. They were so adorable. I couldn't even take pictures. Fukina is my little seal, which was given to me as a present when I was only 4 years old. It's my inspiration. I always wanted to see them in a natural environment. My mom told me stories about their lives on and under the ice. Wow! Can you imagine when you are only just 4 years old? I always dreamt about cold places. Amazing and fascinating story at this age. I have wonderful memories about my childhood. I was always a happy kid. I have 2 sisters. My dad had a furniture business, and my mom was an artist. She was originally from Geneva, and we used to hike a lot, so we were really close to nature. I always loved animals, and my dream was to become a vet. But this never happened.
Jamais. Pourquoi?
Je sais pas. I don't know.
Je sais pas.
But we can manage to burn everything on DVDs. If you're not confident, we can do it twice on 2 different DVDs, so you have double backups.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. So lots to do on shore this morning. We'll take you ashore, and then if you'd like to go for a Zodiac cruise in the ice, we can do that from the beach at any time this morning. It's a cool wind, so dress warmly for it and enjoy a lovely day. Thank you. Valera! Goodbye. I came on this very ship. I was signed on as a Zodiac mechanic to repair the engines and drive Zodiacs.
It was a job for me for a winter 14 years ago. I think if you talk to any of our staff on the ship who have been doing this for a few years, we talk a bit about the polar fever, and it gets in our system and we can't stop going.
Cabin number, please. 440. Okay.
We're a small company. We're committed to safety. We're committed to the environment. We have a wilderness etiquette recommendation. We were looking at ways to minimize our impact on Antarctica. I love the Antarctic this time of year, the early season. It's so pristine and pure. Snow everywhere. Landing sites have 2 or 3 meters of snow on them, where later in the season it's down to the rock. It's a continent of superlatives. It's the windiest, coldest, highest, driest. It's the most mind-blowing place you'll go to.
There is really a bit of everything. There are some elderly people who have traveled all around the world, but not yet to the polar regions. There are some young people, like me when I was 29, who always wanted to see Antarctica and the penguins. There are doctors, but also people who are not wealthy, but save for many years to realize their dream.
That empty space can really reflect and hear yourself, hear the blood rushing in your own ears. It can be so quiet when you go out onto the land. The emptiness of place. The purity of form is like a blank canvas if you're painting it. Where to start is nothing but line, shape, light, and dark.
get in any closer, Daisy, without
Okay.
the icebergs look like.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
If any one of these has a piece break off.
Yeah, safety first. So maybe we just look for another good one. There is the white ice and also the black ice, which is really very old and compressed. And it's a deep blue, almost transparent, that you can see through. Sometimes you can find bubbles inside. They're all different. Some shapes look very sexy. Some are really imposing and make you feel very, very small. I get excited, start clicking, and then I go into very small details, which at the end, you ask yourself, what is it? It's really playing with shapes and playing with colors. It's funny how life leads you to do something, and then all of a sudden you realize who you are and what you want to do. What's your goal in life? What you were born for? When you discover this, then you don't look back. Maybe I was too young to really understand what I wanted from life. After business school, I started working as an assistant accountant, and I continued studying till I did my master's degree in finances.
Yeah, you can turn now. And we slowly pass through, so she's gonna appear like a ghost, yes.
While working as an accountant, I could still keep up with my passion, traveling and photography. As a photographer, I attended only a photo course. I think it was 10 lessons on basic of photography, 3 or 4 years after I started photographing while traveling. All I know today, I've learned from other professional photographers and by going on travel workshop with them. At the time, I was working as an accountant and I had my own accounting business. I was dividing my time between my day job and photography. But every time I came back from a trip, I felt miserable. I was sad, and in the end I asked myself, what do you really want to do? I had a huge penthouse apartment, I was driving a Porsche, but I realized this wasn't what I really wanted. I think the most difficult moment was when I actually made the decision to quit. After that was very easy. It was like being reborn. I had a new life.
I was born in Toronto, in Canada, 1963. Being a single child, I was very quiet. So I was shy, very shy, and I was used to spend a lot of time alone and had to entertain myself, which would be the beginning of my art career. I didn't know much about what art could do for me, but I loved, drawing. I knew that it was going to be artistic. And then, of course, you get to an age where you're interested in girls and stuff, then you get interested in music, and I started playing guitar. It was a little more glamorous. Music is a little more glamorous, being a rock star or something, than painting. But I soon found out by high school that painting was a very, very cool thing to do, and fantastic. From high school, I applied to art college in Toronto. And so I met a very important teacher, Chin Kok Tan, his name is, and he taught a very simple method of painting with one brush, 3 colors, and painting with no drawing, very directly from nature with watercolor. It was an epiphany for me that the whole world, my whole experience could come through these 3 colors, that everything we can see. And he said to me, paint your first 500 like this, And I chose that direction. I go down on my bike and carry my paints in my backpack every day, silly artist, going down into the valley, and I would sit in and paint the spring flowers or the autumn leaves come out. I finished my art degree in Northern Ontario called the Algoma School of Landscape Arts. And I lived 5 years in a cabin, no electricity, no running water, and chop wood and do all that. It's a way of connecting not only with nature, but to learn a bit about yourself by sitting still and painting. But I left Algoma and came back to the city there's a stage where you have to come back and bring it to the world and start teaching people and get a life. Get out, I was getting too pushed.
When I get on location, I take a while to look around and find the potentials. I simply position myself in a place where I think something's going to happen. Animals need to get used to your presence, and in order to get some action, it takes a lot of time. It's like having a relationship between two words. You cannot have a conversation, but through eye and body language, you can communicate. Being accepted by an animal is the best thing that can happen to you. My first priority is respect the animals. I will never take a picture knowing I'm disturbing them. I'm looking for simplicity, the most difficult thing to achieve in art. I want my subject to stand out from the nothing, and this nothing is the white. The Arctic and Antarctic are purity. There aren't many female wildlife photographers specializing in the polar regions. It takes many years to become known and published in the big magazines. My images have been awarded in some of the most prestigious photo contests in the world. You will be successful if you shoot differently from others. Some of my images have been published and exhibited at the National Geographic or the Telegraph, and once known, the editors come looking for you.
Baby, sorry. Come on. Yeah.
Usually when they are on land, they are digesting. They lay and sleep. That's all they do. She won't move for a long time. You have to stay waiting for hours and hours till they move a bit. But when they start, they're adorable. It's like a little cat with all these whiskers. This is a waddle seal, my favorite, because they are the most photogenic. It's magic. The purity you can find here is as if the world has been created and then time stopped. Everything is pure and innocent, in harmony. Unfortunately, people do not realize that climate change exists, and it is especially affecting the peninsula. There is an increase of 3 degrees in temperature, and this, of course, is affecting the penguin populations. This is really, really sad.
Just ask me where you'd like to go.
Just turn a bit like that.
Yeah?
I like to have the bow in.
Straight in?
My picture, right there. Yeah.
This is interesting, eh? This is a piece of sea ice here?
Yeah.
Through my picture, I can touch people's hearts. We need to show positive images in order to move them into action. My dream is a big dream. I hope that humanity will finally understand that we have to respect our planet. I wish that in 20 years from now, there will still be ice and penguins. And wish that this planet will still be on our planet.